characters real to you in your mind? Are they talking to you all the time and saying, "Come on, Athan, get the next bit done"?
um, well, I don't think of them as real people, but I think I've fleshed them out enough that they could as well be real people.
You know, clearly, Athan, the character Elliot is the mastermind behind these experiments, because there are experiments in this book and projects. And that's why the book is called Fog, because one of the experiments or projects, however you want to phrase it, is fog. So hence the title of the book. And you can tell the listeners, without giving too much away of the storyline, what are these experiments? What are these projects that you've created? What are they, Athan?
Right. Okay. Without trying to give too much away, that's a bit difficult. I'll try my best. So I think to start off with, the whole fog is what, like, just the name itself. It doesn't imply that it's fog. It's just a word. You do find out why it's called that as well, but that was a hard decision in what I was going to call the book in the first place. I was going through so many different ideas. What could it be? But eventually I settled on fog, because the fog is, it connects all the characters together. It is the main kind of nexus of the story and brings all the characters together. It's the main, has the most main kind of impact on what makes the story happen, essentially. But with the experiments, why Elliot is doing it, that's a good question. I don't think I can give that away. I'll leave that a mystery.
Ooh. So let's go to, because you're not going to give away. I can understand that. If you want to find out, everybody, read the book. I know why they call experiments. And some of them aren't particularly pleasant. That's the sci-fi world, everybody. That's what, people who love genre, the sci-fi like. So let's have a look at chapter 7 in your book, Athan. For me, this chapter highlights the chaos, and that's the, chaos in Quantum City. That has, exploded in Quantum City. Hence the subtitle, Chaos in Quantum City. Here you talk about gangland murders, aspiring out of control, gangs like the Hammerheads. You develop the characters Nathan and Thomas here. And for me, you start to twist, and you do this very cleverly, the character of Keris into a more of a full-blown, and for me, a psychopathic killer. And again, we're coming to Elliot's experiments are starting to backfire as far as I could see. And Keris is starting to ratchet up the notch here and become one of the main characters. You're turning the heat up here, aren't you? Why?
Well, from the first half of the book as well, Keris is still very psychotic killer, but she does turn it up a bit more. I think why that is that it is a certain outcome of one of the experiments done on her. And I do develop the character even more, like into the second book and other projects after that aren't connected to the main series, that haven't been published yet. But to notch it up, I wanted to really kind of just crescendo it, like the story more chaos and how it's going to, what the outcome is going to be at the end, and
like most authors, Athan, you've got to put the tension into the book, and you've got to increase that tension as the book goes along, because that's what you want, is the readers to turn the pages.
Exactly.
And you've got to put that tension in, and you've got to twist the plot, and you've got to
Exactly.
change the characters, and they've got to move with the storyline. I get that. So let's go to chapter 9, Athan. You talk about cryogenics, genetically engineered black snow. I thought. Now, my understanding of cryogenics is the production and behavior of materials at very low temperatures. So, of course, you've got the black snow. Where are you taking the readers here, Athan? You've got the characters Nathan, Thomas, Natasha. They play significant roles here. You talk about crystal vigilantes. You're really ratcheting up again. So chapter 7, we've got the tension, and here we're coming up another notch again to chapter 9. You're ratcheting and ratcheting up this tension. Now, Keris is now known as the Red Devil. She's, the twists of the knife that, you've given Keris is absolutely fascinating. So this is an important chapter in the storyline, and that's why I want to talk about it. So let's talk about this chapter. How long did it take you to formalize in your mind the plot to this chapter, and why you're ratcheting up here again?
It took quite a while, because once I had finished, to explain it, like once I finished this book, I did go straight on to the second book, and there's the 2 books. So it all comes together at the end of the final book. So it may seem like I'm adding in random things at times, or but like it all comes together. But with the cryogenics, I wanted to add in just other kind of side projects that that company does, other than the fog.
That's Panayotou, isn't it?
Yeah, Panayotou. The play on my last name, actually.
I've worked that out.
But so I just wanted to add in like other things, and kind of have a play around with it. I think when I was younger at the time, I was coming up with like different I'm tiptoeing on ice here, pun intended. But I think I really wanted to play with different like elements and stuff, and what happens with those, and how volatile they might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
So do you sometimes inject into your books ideas, fresh ideas, and thinking, well, let's run with this, let's see where this is going to go?
exactly.
And sometimes you thinking, well, I don't know where this is going to go until I actually, put it down on paper.
Yeah, I think that is one of like kind of half of my writing method, where I will do bullet points of things that I definitely do want to happen, main anchors in the story. But when it comes to character dialogue or scenes where people are discovering things, I do kind of just run off, well, what that person says, how will they reply, and try to just make the dialogue as natural as possible. Also, well, of course, trying to add in drama at the same time. But I really do just kind of go with the flow.
So when you create your characters, do you go and do research to see like what a psychopathic killer would be, and then build that, into the book, into that character, Keris?
Well, there is
Twisted Mind of Elliot.
Yeah, there is a lot more to Keris than you seem. She may be psychopathic, but there are other things at play with her psyche. So, and I have done research about it as well. I don't want to say too much because I really do want people to read the book, but there's a lot more to Keris than meets the eye. You really do see it like at the well, I mean, like throughout the story, you'll kind of see her, get more unhinged, and then near the end of the book, you'll really see
Exactly
how,
how unhinged she is.
yeah, and yeah, yeah, I definitely don't want to spoil what happens,
No, no,
like, yeah. So at
we
the
won't
end,
do
but
that.
but yeah, so a really interesting thing happens with Karis at the end of the book. So, and then yeah, like, I
We're
can't
not
say
going
it.
there, everyone. Read the
Yeah.
book.
So, but with Nathan and stuff, and like, with his personality, I think he's just trying to kind of do good, and he just wants to make,
Okay.
he's trying. I'm trying to embody him as the the goody two shoes kind of white knight. Like, he wants to be good. He is the hero. He is, that kind of character. With Felix, he's more of like a gray character. He's very, he
Now, I'm going to
struggles.
come on to Felix in a minute.
Yeah.
Hold that
Well,
line there. Hold that
yeah.
line.
Well,
Let's
yeah.
go to the last chapter, Athan.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, two things have plagued my mind throughout the whole of your book. Um, and that is, well, Keris and Felix are brother and sister, as I already said. But my question is, why did you give Keris the dominant role in a female as opposed to Felix, her brother? And he is a grey character. He's not so dominant in the storyline. So in many respects, I thought, why has he done this? Were you after deliberately, wanting to have a female dominant character in the book as opposed to another male character, like Felix?
I think with character leads and stuff, I really do try to. Well, part of it is that I am conscious with, balancing character types, male or female. So I don't want to, have too many of, a certain character. I do want, like, balance out with Natasha as well, who is another character, female character. Um,
She's a
but
strong character.
yeah,
Mm.
and so with Karis being a strong female lead, opposed to the brother, I think I just really had, like, at the time, more fun writing her, and maybe she just kind of got more of a spotlight in that way. Fun fact: her name, Karis, it was actually, when I before I was born, they thought I was going to be a girl, so they were going to call me Karis, and that's where that name comes from. It's
Ah.
it's a part of me. So, um, but I don't know. I think maybe it's just because she technically is stronger than Felix, so I think that's why I had her more focused on her capabilities, the trouble she gets into being
Mm.
psychopathic, and that kind of her psyche and stuff. With Felix, I guess it's in his character. He is very relaxed. He does struggle, but he doesn't like to do much. He does still do, some things, and he helps helps out Karis and stuff. But I think he just wants to sit
Sure.
on the sofa with a cold one.
Yeah. But I found staggering. You've killed off one of the main characters. I'm not going to
Mm,
say who. If you want to know who,
mm.
guess what? Read the book. Why have you killed off one of the main characters? Anybody, a publisher would go, "You've killed one of the main characters off in the first book. What are you doing here?"
Right. So it was a very bold move, but I think the the main idea behind that was because a lot of my inspiration comes from comic books. And I always saw in comic books that people, like, like characters that die, and then in the next few issues they'll get resurrected. Um,
Ah.
so I thought, I don't want to really do that trope. Like, I really don't like that trope. So if I'm going to do it, it's going to be at a very far minimum.
All
But
right.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a
So,
secret.
yeah.
Let's move on to chapter 11, Athan.